Welcome to Maker Camp. We've got a great show for you today. There's so much for you to see.
It's the first day of Art and Design Week at Maker Camp, and today is all about wearable tech and shiny shoes. Stick with us, it's going to be fun. We're joined by the Director of Wearable Electronics at Adafruit, Becky Stern, and from PSI Made This, the founder of PSI Made This, Erica Doac.
And today's project is the LED shoe clips. So let's get ready to make something great. Thank you for joining us. I'm Camp Director Paloma.
And I'm Camp Director Sam. As always, we look forward to hearing from you throughout the show, so please put your questions in the comments bar, and we'll ask them live on air.
And if you want to possibly appear live on air with us in the future, go to makercamp.com and go ahead and fill out the form.
Right, but first, before we bring on our guests, we're going to go check in with our counselors who have the daily project for you. Counselors, how are you guys doing? Nick, Sandra.
Hey Sam, thanks.
Hey everybody, I'm Counselor Sandra.
And I'm Counselor Nick. We've got so many great projects this week with pictures and videos of your projects. Here are just a few. At the Pascal Yahi Clubhouse in Tucson, Arizona, campers are soldering the Makey with the robot badges, and young maker Densmore has EL wire on his bike, which is pretty cool. And we've got roller coasters from the makers at Delphi Campbell, and even Festo the Fin Gripper from Justin. So, as always, we want to see your projects this summer, so take some pictures and some videos and show us what you're working on and post them to the Maker Camp community page. And we just want to know what you've learned, what you've made, and what you're going to make next.
Today's daily project is LED shoe clips. This is a fun project for a maker of any skill level. It combines a simple electronic circuit and hand sewing with conductive thread. You can customize this with any color LEDs you want and any type of fabric you want. The instructions posted are for shoe clips, but you can use this to light up anything you want to wear.
So post your pictures of your projects and share them on the Hangout page, and maybe we'll post them tomorrow. Over to you, Maker Camp HQ.
Thanks so much, guys. I love seeing those pictures. And also, I want to let everyone know that we have a really great hangout after the show, the camper hangouts. I've gotten to jump onto some of those, and they're really fun. And it seems like we have a really cool video today. So I'm going to go ahead and actually, I think Nick, you have a video. So let's go ahead and jump over to that camper video that came in. Oh, that's so great. They're using the EL wire on the bike. I love seeing that. You know, EL wire is really tough, so it's great to see that they actually got that project working. So cute. Oh, I love it. I love it. And we also have a video of the fin gripper being used in action. They were able to get paper like really well, seeing that video there.
Lifting paper with paper, very
Lifting paper with paper, and I think they were able to pick up a can too, yeah. And they did what we did on air, where they used the two fin grippers together to be able to actually make a little claw. Oh, I love all the young campers that we got. You guys are so great. And again, I mean, there's the camper hangouts afterwards. Ashley hosts those. So we've got, there's so much fun on there. We had so much fun last week just talking about our projects. And if you want to post anything on the Google Plus community page of what you're making, if it's something from learning to make mac and cheese all the way through to making your own electronic dice, definitely post those on the Google Plus community page. And we'll be checking out for those for sure. But first off, I want to bring on our first guest. This guest is the founder of PSI Made This. Her website has so many, like hundreds of projects that are all about DIY fashion and awesome lifestyle. So we're going to go ahead and bring on our guest, Erica Domesek. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, am I muted? Can you guys hear
No,
me?
you're good.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Thanks for having me. I love camp.
Thanks. We're glad that you could be here. Erica, we'll start you off. Now I hear that you have a very unique approach to doing DIY style. Can you just start off by telling us more about that?
Yeah. Well, the world of PS I Made This was born from this whole idea of I see it, I like it, I make it. So basically, it's the intersection of self-expression and personalization, where we really help and we strive to deliver smiles, but really help expedite it in a way where there are not 10,000 steps or 1,000, 100. Really, in 5 steps or less, we like to teach somebody how to make something. And our projects range from everything from fashion, accessories and apparel, jewelry, to home decor, entertaining, even some fun food stuff. So any fun, stylish, colorful moments, really.
Great. Yeah, you have such a wide range of things on your website. And I just really want to know, when did you really get started with customizing your own objects in your home?
I mean, ever since I was a kid, I've been making things. I started at camp. When I was a kid, I used to love to go to, speaking about camp, I used to love to go to camp, art class. I joke that I have a little DIY in my DNA, so I think that, especially for those people at camp, certain of us have something in them that they always want to personalize and create something. I remember I was saying recently, an early memory of a project, I would take old T-shirts when I was a kid, oversized like Hanes T-shirts. I'd go to the fabric store and I'd buy bolts of colorful, cool fabric and ruche them and make skirts and attach the fabric to the bottom of T-shirts, and then make cute little mini dresses out of them. So I've always been crafty. I grew up in a family where everybody was into the arts and just creating things, from food to fashion.
That's great. I love that you started from camp. So campers, if you are watching this and you love DIY fashion and style, one day if you work hard enough, maybe you could have your own really awesome website.
And yeah, and you can do, I mean, this is like, you're seeing a little bit of our world here, PSA Made This. We've got, people shooting things. It's not just me. I'm lucky to be through PSA Made This into an awesome team of people who all contribute, and we are excited to share projects, weekly, all different types of projects and video content that allows people just to kind of live a little bit more fun, beautiful life. So before this, I came from the fashion industry, so it's always stuff that's still, stylish and cool.
Awesome. Now, speaking of stylish, we've got a link to your iridescent sneaker project up on our page. What was the inspiration behind those very shiny sneakers?
Well, I think that, I don't know who doesn't love an iridescent moment. I was actually looking through some papers just a second ago, and this is just even from here, I don't know if this translates on a computer screen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, how cool is this, right? I think that, fashion was seeing a lot of iridescent moments happening from runways, and we started seeing it all over designer runways and accessories for sure, jackets, and I think that the whole movement really came back, and people started to infuse in a different way. So a lot of times we'll see a trend, and we'll say, wait, we're seeing so much, whatever the trend is we're seeing, how do we have our spin on it? How do we do something different? So shoes are something that everybody needs and wants and loves. So we thought, well, why don't we take a really cool trend and infuse it on something that everybody has to wear? So that was where we started with, and we took just a plain pair of, canvas sneakers. Sadly, I don't have those shoes with me today, but if you go on PSI Made This, you can see the full how-to on the shoes. Now, basically, it's, again, like I said, in 4 steps, you can make these sneaks. We actually auctioned them off for charity.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, which was really cool. But to make the sneaks, you're going to need just a plain pair of canvas sneakers. You're going to need some type of iridescent paper, film paper. This is weird to do. I'm holding up. Some just paper tape. I'm showing 3, but you just need 1. I love paper tape. I use it for everything. And this is what you'll block off around your sneaker to tape it, portions. And you get started by painting a layer of paint. Sorry, I'm missing the camera. Apparently I can't get. I just thought this was a cool lavender color as the base. And you simply just use your foam brush paint away, which I could do now, but I'd probably get it on the computer, and I don't think you want to do it.
It'd be inconvenient.
So you paint a base with your sneaker, and then you're actually going to take your paper, cut up in squares, and crinkle it. And cutting small squares about an inch or so, inch and a half big, and you simply just use your Mod Podge and decoupage it all over the painted sneaker. So check out the how-to on psimadethis.com under shoes, accessories, and it's a fun one. I was into it.
Yeah, that's great. And it looks so simple, too. It's just a couple of steps, just like you do on your website, and it looks like it has a really great effect. I've seen the pictures, and they look super cool. So, campers, I want to see your shoes, and maybe take some liberties with it and go crazy. Try something, add the shoe clips to it, and just rock out some interesting footwear.
Yeah, and if you change, it's cool. The different color paint that you do on the bottom layer, that'll also change what they'll look like. So, you know, keep in mind the base is, you know, your canvas to get creative on. So, I mean, you can use anything from neon colors, dark colors, and it'll slightly change the effect of your film on top of it if it's a little bit translucent.
Great. And, you know, I just wanted to say, because, I mean, we have so many campers that are watching that are maybe new to the DIY fashion scene, but they're really interested in it. So how would you encourage campers who are maybe, you know, our younger DIY fashionistas to really get started and maybe get through that first project?
Well, you can't do anything without a trusted pair of scissors, right? These are my favorite scissors, so I just thought I'd share. I did not answer your question, but I think having a couple essential tools is a great place to start. You know, everybody needs a glue gun, everybody needs some scissors. But, you know, I think take it easy. I think that, you know, everybody here at Maker Camp is excited to create something, and we're all interested in different things. I think the most fun for me is when I get to make things with my friends. You know, I think that having, especially like, the whole idea of camp is doing things together and connecting with other like minds. But I think that, you know, having a friend over, I think summertime is the best time to make things because you actually can go outside, you can tie-dye, you're not stuck in school, and you can get creative and have more time to play around. I love turning, you know, things I have in my closet to things I find at yard sales into new things. So reinventing everyday items is something I love doing. And I would say that, you know, if you're just getting into making things now, it's amazing. You could find anything on the internet. I mean, you can find anything. And I think that's why, you know, Maker Camp is so great because it's bringing so many people, it's bringing technology and makers together. So whether it's on PSI Made This or any way, like, you can find out how to make anything. And I think the idea that we can now educate ourselves in like one click how to make, I mean, anything is pretty cool. It's mind-blowing. You know, 10 years ago wasn't like this, 15 years ago. So I love the idea. And I think that just sharing what you make is the best part. Because what you make, and if you put out to the world, whether it's on a blog or an Instagram, someone else is going to see that, and hopefully that'll inspire them. So every project that we make, we hope other people will share what they make. And it's kind of like this virtuous cycle of, you know, inspiration and education and continuing to share.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that these days. Yeah.
What was that?
Can you hear me? I know there was like a second. I said I sound like I'm preaching. I sound like Reverend Run.
Well, you know what? You're preaching stuff that we're all following you. We're all with you on it. I mean, Maker Camp. I mean, I'm so happy to be involved with it because it really does. It brings, you know, so many people together. I was, you know, on the Camper Hangouts. You're able to talk to people all over the world, and we're all sharing our ideas and helping solve problems, and it's really fun. I mean, it's a really great experience. So I'm going to be preachy because I love this program too. But yeah, I think that the Make community is really something special, and being able to bring all of you campers, you know, things that you maybe never have tried. Maybe you didn't think about, you know, hacking your shoes, and now that's something that you can try out. And I think that we're really happy to have both of our guests with us today to really talk about this.
And they
Very
go
much, yeah.
like leopard pants. I bought on leopard pants today.
Great. I left mine at home.
All right, I just want to make sure that all the campers know that
That's great.
Erica, we're glad that your leopard pants made it onto the show. We're glad that you could come too. Please stay with us. We'll be throwing you some camper questions in a minute.
Yeah, but first I want to bring on our next guest, who we are very excited. This guest is no stranger to Make. Becky Stern is a frequent contributor to Make projects and the director of wearable technologies at Adafruit. So thank you so much, Becky, for being with us. We're very happy to have you.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I love camp also. I went to camp when I was a kid and was even an arts and crafts camp counselor.
Nice. So we're going to have you come over and host the show next week. Is that cool?
Yeah, totally cool. I'll be there.
Great.
Awesome.
So, you know, a lot of our campers, again, as I said, are maybe new to the whole wearable technology world. So can you give us a little background on what is wearable tech and where does that come from?
Sure. So I think it's the idea of incorporating electronics and technology into your clothes and your fashion and things you wear. So really getting inspired by maybe some other DIY projects that are objects you hold in your hand, but you want to bring them with you and help express your personal style. And I really like combining crafts and electronics together because I like to do things with my hands, no matter what it is. I like to knit and sew, and so it's really fun to start stitching with LEDs, and you can use kind of the crafting language that a lot of young campers out there might already have and use those same techniques to play with electronics. We're going to do a fun project today, and I also brought the first thing I ever sewed.
Oh, very cool.
That's the first thing you ever sewed? I feel so inadequate now.
Oh, sorry, I know, I'm an overachiever. I have to show it on the overhead. This is when I was 8 years old, my mom taught me how to sew with a needle and thread, and I just wanted more Beanie Babies. That was the thing, right? Like, you needed to collect all of the Beanie Babies. And so this is a replica I made, or a clone I made of my Beanie Baby cat when I was 8 years old.
If you will.
And I just looked at the shapes of the fabrics and sewed it together. It's got beans, it's got like red kidney beans in it. Buttons for eyes.
Oh my gosh. Let's hope it doesn't need a transplant.
Yeah, a few beans have fallen out over the years. Because he's like 20, he's like 21 years old. Wow, Kitty's old enough to
Sorry,
yeah. So, did you have another question for me, or I can show you some things that campers could that I started
actually,
making?
I'm curious a little bit. Thank you very much for showing that first sewing project. I wasn't expecting that.
Even if it did spill the beans.
Oh. Give me just a minute to recover.
I love breaking Sam with my terrible jokes.
How about some early electronics projects of yours? Can you tell us about some of the origins there?
Sure. So when I was, so I started sewing when I was really young, and my family's really crafty. And like Erica, I went to summer camp and really enjoyed making lanyards out of that plastic string and tie-dye T-shirts, and always really loved making crafts. And when I went to college, I went to art school, and I'm going to screen share now to you a window of some pictures. And I was still making like plush toys and stuff, but we started to learn about electronics, and so I figured, well, I'll just keep making the stuff that I like to make, and then add the new stuff I learned. And so these are a pair of plush toys, these little monsters, and they have LEDs in their teeth, and
adorable.
A magnetic switch in the crown, and they're supposed to be brothers, and they're fighting over who's in charge. And when the one that's wearing the crown, there's a magnet in the crown and a magnet sensor in the body. It detects who's wearing the crown and lights up the teeth. So a little bit of interaction with an early Arduino board there. And it's really fun to make and really easy to play around with putting, different diffusion materials around simple LEDs. And this is my first article for Make. I made it in 2007, which was while I was still in school. These plush light-up stakes.
I'm really into the stakes.
Thanks. They're about.
Why do they light up blue?
Industrial agriculture. Oh, why are they blue? I think because I had but those were the brightest LEDs that I had. But it was supposed to be a commentary on like industrial agriculture production, where they irradiate the meat before they send it to your store. Which
Nice.
actually makes it
Sounds
slow,
delicious.
but it was a good excuse for putting LEDs in a plush toy.
Yeah, a good light-hearted first project for Make.
I was a little dark also. You know, it's art school. You have to think about like heavy ideas. You go through that phase.
You
Now
gotta
it's
change
back
the
to
world.
fashion.
In big, important ways.
Well, I love that you're sharing those. What are you working on now, though? I know you're constantly working on new stuff, but what do you have going on now?
Yeah, so at Adafruit we make every week we make a new wearables tutorial. So it's using lights or sounds and microcontrollers and 3D printing to make light up fashion and crafts. So we do a new tutorial every week with a video and a live wearable electronics show on Wednesdays, Wearable Wednesdays. And you can see all of the projects behind me. We do everything from LED umbrellas to bike helmets to 3D printed punk spikes that light up to this like dinosaur hoodie over here and a backpack that has brake lights and turn signals for your bike. So lots of things to sort of like both express your fashionable personality and also incorporate new tech into your daily life, things that would like make things easier for you or make you easier to spot on your bike, but also fashion. So we're lately I'm really into the Adafruit LED sewing kit, and it's what's used to make today's LED shoe clip project. It's just got some candle flicker LEDs and some conductive thread and some batteries in it, and you can use it to make a bunch of different things, not just these LED shoe clips. I have another window to screen share with some other projects. So you can make an embroidery. This is a frog eating some fireflies. That's another Make article you can read. You can make a pinball bumper necklace that lights up. That's a video on craft. You can make
And does it light up when somebody runs into you?
Yeah, it does. When someone hits you with a
That's
pinball.
awesome.
And this is a light-up LED hair bow. And these are all the exact same circuit. Here's a Star Wars Jawa doll with glowing LED eyes. And so
Cute.
there's you can get really creative with just a very simple 2 LEDs and 1 battery circuit. And that's what we're going to be playing with around today.
Awesome. Yeah, so, and I know that you have your own take on the LED shoe clips, so can
I believe I have the original take on the LED shoe clips.
Yeah, the original take, which is how many years old?
I looked it up just while we were getting ready. It was from 2011, so they're 5 years old.
Nice, and they're still going strong.
They're still going. See, the conductive thread. We've switched over to stainless steel conductive thread because it doesn't tarnish. But the original ones that you can see here on my shoe were made in 2011 with silver conductive thread, and it tarnishes just like silver jewelry, and it makes it a little bit less conductive over time. So I'm surprised that these are still kicking, but I keep them kind of in an airtight container, so that helps.
That definitely does.
But
and
yeah.
I see that you have, what kind of LEDs do you have on those?
These are candle flicker LEDs, so that's what comes in the LED sewing kit, but you can find them online anywhere. They are fun because they twinkle on their own. They have a little chip inside them that tells them to sort of fade in and out, and if you've been to like a restaurant with LED candles, that's usually what they use. The reason I like them for this project is because you don't have to use a microcontroller to have some fun like animation movement happening, right? So you can see this one. I'm going to make another one of these today for you guys. It twinkles on its own, and that can be really fun. You can also use some automatically color changing RGB LEDs. This one is a slow fade RGB LED that just goes between all the different colors of the rainbow by itself. So you don't have to do any complicated programming or have a lot more hardware in order to get a cool animation effect. And there's fast ones like that too. I also have a pink LED because maybe pink is fun. It's my favorite color of LED.
That's a great color of LED, for sure.
You should dye your hair pink next time. What do you think? It would be a nice transition from red to pink.
My boss's hair is already pink. So the founder of Adafruit, Lady Ada Lamore Freed, her hair is fluorescent pink. So I feel like if I were to dye it a fluorescent color, I'd have to go a different color, else I'd be a copycat.
Yeah, she was on a Maker Camp Halloween hangout, I think, and it was too much bright red hair. I have the bright red, she had the bright pink, and I think we set off the auto contrast on all of the cameras.
Red colors are hard on camera. Should I jump right into the project?
Yes, please do.
Okay. I prepared like a cooking show so we can get this. You guys
Awesome.
have a good idea of what's going on here. So as the camp counselor showed you, we're going to be making a fun, simple LED shoe clip. And you don't have to put it on your shoe. You could put it on like your book bag, or you could put it in a hair clip and make it your own with whatever kind of fabric you want. And so the things you'll need are just some LEDs, a coin cell battery, some conductive thread, and a sewing needle and some plain thread, and some fabric. I'm using this glitter translucent fabric, but you can use this other one was made with like a satin kind of fabric. Anything that's going to sort of like help reflect and amplify the light, and you can get creative by using different types of fabric. So the first step is to make the battery holder, and what you want to do is make a little sort of oblong shape out of a piece of felt or other sturdy fabric, and you cut it, you kind of trace around one of your batteries to get the size, and then you cut with a little bit of extra, and you make it kind of an amoeba shape, so that when it folds over, it sort of wraps all the way around the battery. And that's gonna help. That's gonna hold the battery in place and allow it to connect to your LEDs. And then next, you take some conductive thread. Let me clear my workspace a little bit here. You take some conductive thread and you make a little embroidered pad, and that's what's gonna make contact with your battery. Your battery has two sides, the positive side and the negative side, and you want to connect each side to a different side of your LED, so you can see how that sort of touches. That's the contact for the battery holder, and you do that twice. So you just kind of thread your needle with conductive thread, skim the surface. You're gonna have to forgive my sewing skills today. I cut my finger and I cut my sewing thumb, guys. It was in the kitchen. I swear it wasn't by doing any crafts. It was just with a vegetable slicer.
Don't you know that you should walk around with your hands in glass so that you can always continue to do your wearable technologies?
Gloves, yeah, I know, my hands. So I just made a little loop at the end of the conductive thread to catch, and then there's no specific rhyme or reason to the way you make the little pad. You just want to build up a few stitches so that I'll hold it closer to the camera, so that you make a good sort of contact, right? Here. And then when that's all done, it looks like this. So you have two contacts, and then the threads are coming out the other side.
So it's two distinct pieces for each side of the battery, right?
Yes, and so what happens is the electrical energy, electrical potential stored in the battery is released when you give it a circuit to run through, and so this is going to wrap around the battery to connect to the positive side and the negative side, and then these are going to connect to the positive side and the negative side of the LEDs, allowing the electrical current to travel through the LEDs and light them up. And we want to keep them separate, or else we'd have a short. So electricity takes the path of least resistance, and we'll want to get back to the other side of the battery as easily as possible. And so if we take the two threads and we touch them together, then the current is not going to go through the LEDs. It would just go back to the battery, and it would make the battery drain, and then it wouldn't work anymore. So the next thing we do is I usually take a dead battery and use it as kind of a base for sizing, and I use this is just a regular needle and thread, and I stitch the battery holder shut right around the battery. And you can use either a whip stitch or a running stitch or a back stitch. Any sewing stitch that you know will work for this. And I'm using a
technical on me here.
I know, right? Anything goes, really. Anything that'll keep it shut. I'm using a contrasting thread so that you can see it a little better. But you could obviously, the yellow ones, these use a matching thread so that it is all hidden. These are great for like bridesmaids dresses or prom, and you can make them match your dress so that any shoes that you have that are not quite matching, you can spruce them up and make them kind of make your outfit a little bit more special or fancy.
That's a great idea.
You can stitch up, so you stitch up one side, and then you'll stitch up the other side also with a separate piece of thread, and you'll leave the top open, and that's so that you can kind of like bloop, squeeze the battery out, or bloop, squeeze the battery in. And that's how, the tension around the battery is what's going to hold it in place. So that's why I sew it with a dead battery inside it. Then, oh, I guess maybe I skipped this step. We'll just go back. You can you can just make the battery holder and end up with a flat back like this. My camera will come back to focus. So it's just on its own, and you can use like a paper clip or anything, a pin back you could glue on to make it a boutonniere. But I also have, these are shoe clips I ordered on Amazon, or you can get them at like a craft store sometimes. And before I sewed my battery holder shut, I stitched this on here so that when it's all together, it will clip onto the shoe. I have another shoe here. And they're like designed for that, but you don't have to use you can also just use a regular paper clip. So I stitched that on, and then when I'm all done, I have like this little felt battery holder with a little clippy on it, and the 2 pieces of conductive thread coming off the side. So you prepare that, you set it aside, and then you make the LED portion. And LEDs are polar. The current will only go one way. So if you plug it in backwards, it won't light up. You need to find a battery that works. My desk is covered in batteries. So if you plug it in backwards, nothing bad will happen. It just won't light up. And we're going to make it so that the battery, if you sew it wrong, you could actually just flip the battery around, so you don't have to worry about the polarity for now. What you do is you take 2 of your candle flicker LEDs, and you make sure that you line up both of the positives and the negatives together, and you can see, that there's a long lead and a short lead, positive and negative. And when you are putting them together, you put the long leads together and the short leads together, and you kind of bend them apart like that, and you twist them together, and you end up with this guy. And that guy you can also test with your battery just by pinching it on. So you have the 2 LEDs are together. That's kind of what we're going to go for, but we're going to wrap that in fabric. So you take your 8 circles, and the tutorial, you can find the tutorial for this project on Make Projects. You can get conductive thread in the Maker Shed. You can get the LED sewing kit on adafruit.com. All the supplies are easy to find in the instructions. So you have 8 circles of fabric, and you're going to layer them up in a sort of a sandwich. But first you're going to fold them. So I'm going to take one, fold it in quarters, and hold it. I'm going to take another one, fold it in quarters, and hold it. When you get to the 3rd one, you put the LED in the middle. You just pierce it through the fabric, and then also fold it in quarters around the LED with the LED sticking out the bottom. And then you layer a few more circles, and then the other LED, and you end up with, and then you twist the positive legs and the negative legs together. So you end up with this kind of arrangement. Do you see what I did there? This one that's nice and fully cooked.
Very fancy.
Very nice.
Although it's been clipped, so it's a little bit flattened. You have this like fluffy monster with the LEDs kind of buried inside, and the positive and the negative leads coming off the end. And you can test it to make sure it still works. Ooh. And then then you want to sew it to the battery holder you just made. And I usually take a pair of pliers and just sort of twirl the leads up because I want to make them sewable. You do one side and then do the other side.
So what you're doing here is just curling them into a circle so that you can stitch it onto one side of it?
Yeah, so I can stitch to those leads with conductive thread. And so the conductive thread is going to both it's going to both physically attach the ruffle to the battery holder, but it's also going to electrically connect the positive lead of the LEDs to the positive lead of the battery. I got glitter all over my desk. I'm sure you guys understand.
What's a desk without some glitter on it?
I know, right? And then I'm going to take my battery holder, I'm going to take one of the leads, and I left these long tails. I'm going to thread my 2-ply conductive thread. And I'm going to take one side of the battery, or the LED leads. You see there's 2 there going on. And I'm going to stitch around the curled leads of those LEDs. And that's going to make that mechanical and electrical connection. So you want to make it nice and tight so that the electrons can jump from one surface to another, and so that it doesn't short out or fall off. So once you do that side, then you cut that tail off, and you take the other side, you thread the needle again, and you can use kind of a shallow felt is good for this, and because it's a matted fabric, so it's easy to sort of stitch just through the surface. I'm going to kind of take the thread and help go along the outside of the battery holder around to the other side, so that it's not shorting the battery, but it's making its way over to the opposite leads of the LEDs. And I'll stitch around and around and around. And basically what I'm doing is this. I wanted to show you without the ruffle so that it can be a little more clear, because I know the ruffle gets in the way. So you can see here that the LED leads are twisted together and then sewn, and then when I stick the battery in, say I were to put it in this way, nothing happens. Oh, that's okay. I can just take it out and flip it over, and then the LEDs are lighting up. So that's what it looks like without the ruffle, which is sort of maybe easier to understand when you're looking at it. And with the ruffle, you just have to keep your eyes peeled a little more closely, and you get that ruffly effect. Here's the one on the shoe. So this one's just held in place with a paper clip that I just sort of shoved down in the back there. And you could clip it onto the side even. And even throughout the day or the party that you're at, you could like move it around from your hat to your shoe or whatever.
It's a very multi-purpose accessory.
There you go.
So that's the LED shoe clip. I hope that you guys follow the tutorial on Make projects and make some and put them in the Maker Camp group so that we can all see them.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and have a link to that on the Google Plus community page so that campers, if you want to make sure that you can really go through that as well on your own pace, definitely check out that link to the project.
Yes. Very cool. Thank you very much for that demo, Becky. It was inspiring and enlightening.
Lightening?
Don't do that. Stick around with us because we're going to be giving you some questions from campers. And on that note, Sandra, do we have any questions coming in from the campers?
Oh, sorry, the mic was muted. Carly wanted to know, for Erica, when making sneakers or any other project, what's your favorite tool?
Oh, my favorite tool. Hold on. Hey, can someone grab me? Hold on. Someone grab me. Top. You can bring me that. And top shelf. Yeah. Hold on. Hold on.
You are so excited about your favorite tool right now.
How can it be you don't have it with you at all times?
Well, because I'm sitting over here now. So here are a bunch of my tools here. Even there's like makeup brushes too. But I think that tools should be pretty. They should be fashionable and functional. These are, sorry, I get confused. All of my tools are gold, which I love. I had to get just because I couldn't find cool looking tools. So speaking of cool tools, this is my crystallized glue gun. So these are all Swarovski crystals that just make the glue gun a lot more fun, and it's super fancy because, you know, I think that when you make things, you want to enjoy every process, and you want to get excited to use, you know, just like how some people spend a lot of money on shoes. I'll invest in making, you know, a glue gun with actual crystals on it. So I love glue guns, and I really love my gold scissors. These are my favorite tools. But I also collect scissors too. So over there, which I can't show you, I have a whole table of crazy cool scissors that are in the shape of elephants and like swans. I'm a child still, clearly.
I'm not going to lie, I definitely have a whole box of organized glitter at home. So I definitely identify with your crystallized glue gun, for sure.
These are elephant scissors because.
Did you make those yourself?
I did not make these myself, no. I found them in a store and I had to get them because I love elephants. But you could, I think that's a cute project, taking a pair of basic scissors, and actually if you look at them up close, painting the top of them gray, and, adding, you could cut out you could use wooden pieces or even use felt pieces for tusks, and add googly eyes or plain dots. But, that's a great idea, the whole idea of looking at something and taking it apart, deconstructing something, and you could make these. I happened to be in a store and I was like, I need them, and I didn't get them, but a friend bought them for a gift. But I think that's the whole idea, that you should love not only what you make, but it's cool to love your tools too, because tools are cool.
Definitely. Okay, campers, it is now a race to create your own DIY elephant scissors. Okay, go. And while we're waiting for that, counselors, do we have any more camper questions?
We got one more question, and this is sort of for both of you. And I was wondering really who inspired. Well, I was wondering, and also campers were wondering, but who inspired you to make when you were younger, and what did they say to you to get you inspired?
That's a really good question. You can do it.
Go for it.
Go for it. Yeah. I mean, my parents are both really crafty, and so they wanted to keep me occupied. I would be like, I'm bored, and they'd be like, okay, let me teach you how to cook an omelet or how to knit. And there's a way to stay occupied and also be creative. But I think that, I was always told if you want to do it and you work hard enough, you can make it happen. So just go out there and try. And the worst you can do is fail and pick yourself up again and try something else or try again.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. I think that, I guess coming from a place where people support just an interest is really important. So every birthday I can possibly imagine, my birthday parties were creative and fun, and everything from, I remember one year for my birthday party, my mom's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I want people to make their own pizzas. Like, I don't want to get, everybody gets, you get your dough, so that's what we did. And I think that, the older you get, when you start to realize that you can take an interest in something, I think that's a really special thing, because when you're younger, and you're like, when you go to school, you're taught this is what you have to learn, this is what you have to do. But I think that there's something to be said for really thinking about what delivers a smile to your face, what makes you happy, aside from the things that we all have to do. And I think that the idea of crafting a career is kind of special. It doesn't mean that you have to be an artist, but the idea that you can have a living where you're happy and excited to do something every day is important. So whether you're a graphic designer, an illustrator, a teacher, I think that's just an important thing. My mom, she was crafty more in the kitchen. I had aunts who were very artistic, who taught me how to sew. And I think my mom was always, every Christmas and every gift I would get, make your own soap kit. So I think that I was always just encouraged to get involved in my interests, what I like, and that's the coolest thing that you can do is, if you have an interest, just continue to really foster that.
Erica, did you have a rock tumbler? I had a rock tumbler.
Oh my gosh, you want to know something? I always wanted one. I never had one.
Not as cool as it seems.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I recently was going through things in my parents' attic, and I was finding all of just random things my mom had saved. That's the best, when your parents save the stuff you made as a kid.
That's why I have this. My parents saved this Beanie Baby cat.
I don't have them here, but I was in a weird puppet stage at one point, like hand puppet stage, and I think they're in a basket.
Yeah, I mean, every child goes through their hand puppet stage when they're a kid, right?
We all have stages. I mean, I remember when I was into marbleizing paper, that was my thing. But the funny thing is, it comes back. I kind of want to make a puppet right now. Why not?
Well, I think we're definitely going to look forward to seeing your next project, which is just puppets galore on your website. And you know what? I could spend, I can't even believe how fast time went by. I feel like I blinked and we went through this entire hangout. You guys are so fun to talk to, and I've just had so much fun, learning about these projects and talking about what you've made. And so it's definitely hard to end the hangout, but I just want to thank both of you for being here. Thank you so much, Erica Doac and Becky Stern. And I also want to thank the campers because you have such an active role in Maker Camp, and I've so enjoyed seeing what you make, and I cannot wait to see what you make this week.
It'll be amazing. I'm looking forward to it. Campers, be sure to come back and tune in tomorrow. We're going to be meeting with artists from the Flux Foundation. We're going to be teaching you how to show off humongous pieces of art to your 60,000 closest friends at Burning Man.
Just the first 60,000 of your closest friends.
Yeah.
And remember, campers, I can't imagine how you wouldn't be, but if you were inspired by anything you saw on today's show, remember, do try this at home. Goodbye, campers.
Take care.